a good card. I'd say, not counting, of course, the student pre-show because don't really count that. I'd give the show an 8. It was a good card, good flow. I'm not a fan of multiple tag matches, and I mean, there was a lot of that. There was 6-man tag, a 5-man scramble, female women's tag match, and I understand promoters are in a tough spot where they got to try to get as many people on a card as possible that that are there, but sometimes it's a lot, especially as fans when you got all these guys standing on the apron in a tag match and you can't really get a good vantage point of the match because you're pretty much looking at the back of guys' legs and asses the entire match, waiting for them to tag and get in. So I'm a fan more of the one-on-one or the even the battle royal is fine because at least all the guys are in the ring at the same time. So the vantage point is still the middle of the ring. So that was it. Warriors of Wrestling last night from Staten Island, New York. Ultimate Survival. Key points, of course, Rude Boy Riley victorious, defending his title and still the champion for now. Well over a year. So I think this is the second straight show after he celebrated his year anniversary that he's the champion. Steeler and Ace, when they're going to get involved in the championship picture again is beyond me. Darius Carter, who's going to be next up on Darius Carter for his title, who's going to be the number 1 contender, who's going to step up in the women's division and be that dominant women's wrestler, and which of these newly appointed students in the main roster is going to step up and make himself a main man, a man to watch on the roster. And as always, what's going to happen with the unpredictable Jay George? He's got the name for a reason. He's unpredictable because you just never know. One minute he wants a championship match, and in another minute he's looking to run the ring, run interference on someone else, has nothing to do with the championship. He's, like I said, he's very unpredictable. You don't know what you're getting out of him. But I do have to say kudos to his ring gear this week. Very cool ring robe and jacket that he wore down there. And definitely no kudos goes out there to Dirtbag Dan and his Baby Gap wrestling gear again. I thought he retired them, but apparently he brought them back. And, yeah. Whew. Tiny. But good job out there with Warriors of Wrestling. Good job out there with Joey B. And happy birthday goes out to the original B, Mr. Bellini. Happy birthday went out to him last night. And, of course, as the ring announcer said, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be watching Warriors of Wrestling last night. So, good point. August 6th, next month, Warriors of Wrestling will be hosting another show, and it will feature WWE Hall of Famer, the Wild Samoan Alpha Sr., as well as Alpha Jr., and former WWE star Damien Sandow. All will be there. I'm thinking Alpha Jr. and Sandow will be the only ones out of the 3 in action. And, of course, all that and your Warriors of Wrestling roster will be there. And, it's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I think it's going to be a good time, as always, for Warriors of Wrestling. Always seems to be a good show regardless of who's there, or even if someone's not there. They don't always need the big names. They draw a great crowd. They're very loyal to their roster, and they put on a good show. And it's good to see. Other independent wrestlers kind of filtering into the Warriors of Wrestling roster that have been around that do a really good job, like Too Hot Steve Scott. So we still like to see more Kyle the Beast if that can be done, because we all love Kyle the Beast. So okay, so we got about 10 minutes before we get Jazz calling in. Again, I wanted to talk a little bit about WWE right now. What's going on with the championship picture, and Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, and then we just announced that Randy Orton is the one who's going to be taking on Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, and to me that makes little to zero sense. Brock Lesnar, fresh off his victory last night at UFC 200, a very dominant, though a decision, but a very dominant performance last night. The only bad thing I saw about last night with Lesnar was halfway through the second period, I want to say he was. It looked like he was out of gas, but he did what he needed to do, applying the pressure and the weight of his body against the Samoan to wear him down and kind of get a second wind. But very dominant. I mean, Brock Lesnar shows why he's probably the most dangerous man on this planet. He's just so quick, so powerful. Everything he does is done with a purpose. Whether it's a knee to the rib cage or a jab to the top of the head or just him constant. I mean, oh man, it was just a couple of takedowns last night that were just, nobody else is going to do it like that. I mean, literally just picking a 300, no, it wasn't 300 pounds, but 280-pound man and just dropping him like he weighs nothing, and then just getting on top, doing the top mount and just doing his thing and punching through blocks, and he's just an animal. I mean, he is a beast. He earns that name, and being a top 10 championship contender after being out for 5 years, it's just amazing what this guy can do. And you got a UFC crowd chanting Suplex City, was amazing. And the only thing it was missing was Paul Heyman. I mean, that was pretty much all it was missing. But I guess you'll get to see that at SummerSlam when Brock Lesnar takes on Randy Orton. I don't, whatever the case may be, is Randy Orton coming back as a face? Is he coming back as a heel? Who knows? But I mean, you can't see Randy Orton winning this match. I think you're kind of seeing the Cinderella kind of farewell tour of Randy Orton, maybe. He's constantly hurt, and his injuries have kept him out for long periods of time, and you can't really see him doing a major championship run with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose in the main picture right now, because even if he's a face, you have Ambrose as the face, you have Rollins as the heel. Does he cost Rollins a match, kind of continuing what Orton did right before he got injured, which was, going against the authority and kind of sticking it to Seth Rollins? What really happens here? But how much build-up can he possibly have before SummerSlam? I mean, you got a little bit. What you got this next event, next pay-per-view coming up, then SummerSlam. So you got you got 6 weeks. It's not a lot, but I guess it can be done to see what's going to go on with Randy Orton and how they're going to build this up, and how does he even, where did this come from? I mean, there was no build-up. There was nothing that said that, Randy Orton was going to be the guy to take on Brock Lesnar, but I guess you're kind of out of people. I mean, who else are you going to have it? I would have said Bray Wyatt, but now they got this whole Bray Wyatt, the Wyatt family, and the New Day thing. So, I don't. Bray Wyatt needs a major push, and what would be a major push then? Have him take on Brock Lesnar, even losing to Lesnar, or maybe a disqualification or something would make him look strong. Would give him a super push, but WWE has got their own plans, I'm sure, which I'm sure will be leaked very soon on the internet, or what they're going to be doing. Maybe they're giving Randy Orton one last push. Maybe he's a future champion right now. Maybe he wins the title sometime in the next 3 months, holds it for a month or two, and then that's kind of it. So who knows? Maybe we have to give Daddy Bob Orton a call and find out what he knows. But getting back to the championship match, I don't see Roman Reigns even involved in the title picture anymore. I think he's done, which, Ambrose has been privately said, which was, of course, whenever you say private, comes out to be public, that he doesn't know how he feels about being the main man, if he's ready for it. So does that mean Seth Rollins is going to get handed back the title? But there's been shows advertised after this pay-per-view that WWE will be in certain areas, and Dean Ambrose is defending the title there, as is The Miz defending his Intercontinental Championship, which means he will retain at the next 2 pay-per-views. So it's a little weird. I don't know why they do that. I understand they want to sell tickets, so they're trying to, use certain guys to sell tickets, but why do you tell, why just say, WWE superstar Dean Ambrose will be there, and this person will be there, and that person. You don't need to use the word champion. You don't need to put the championship, because now it's almost like you sell these tickets, all these Ambrose fans are, very excited he's the champ. They will want to go to the show, and all of a sudden at SummerSlam, Ambrose drops the title, and now he's advertised as the champion at a house show, and he's not the champion. And, not that it's false advertisement, but it's kind of misleading. So, to kind of tell the fans what's going to happen now 2 months in advance is kind of silly. So, I don't know. Again, it's just... I'm happy the last couple of months the way WWE has been, but at the same time, there's other things that have gone on that just pretty silly. And how they're using certain guys is pretty silly as well. There's certain guys like they need to push that they're not. What are they going to do with Kevin Owens? This whole Sami Zayn feud is gotten out of control to the point where it's not even exciting anymore. I don't even think it's been exciting at WWE's level. I think it was fine at NXT, but not here. But I don't know. Okay, well, getting on to a non-wrestling matter, this whole nonsense that's been going on with the police shootings and, police shooting people while in custody, and people, taking out cops out of frustration, shooting them. Enough's enough, people. It doesn't matter who you don't like and who you do like, and nobody has the right to end someone else's life, just because you hate them or you dislike them. Look around. We're all surrounded by different types of people. And I think that's what makes America great, because we have so much diversity. And, if I'm in the mood for Mexican food, I could go down the block and go to a Mexican restaurant and walk in and say hi to all my neighborhood friends, not friends, but, the Mexican workers and everything. Say, hey, what's going on, blah, 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 get my food and, hopefully walk out, and there's never a problem. If I'm in the mood for Italian, I can go to my local Italian place. If I'm in the mood for Chinese, I can do that. That's what makes America so great. And just the opportunity to do so much, and to have the freedom to do that, not be restricted. There's a picture floating around, which I was actually very shocked that WWE allowed it to happen without running some kind of promotion for it. But you had the Dudleys. Obviously, Bubba Ray's white, Devon's black, and they're both holding up signs that says "His Life Matters" with an arrow pointing at each other, which I think is wonderful. People forget that these guys are a tag team, and they're working together, and they've been partners, they've been brothers on the road for 30 years. So people, come on, get over it. Stop killing people. Everybody, stop killing. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. Enough's enough. Every time you turn on the television, you watch the news, it's depressing. This is not what you want your kids to see. So stop. Everybody just stop. Just like they said, the kids are our future, they are. Stop teaching them this so they don't think this is the right thing to do. Okay, we're going to commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by former WWF WWE Women's Champion, former ECW star Jazz. So sit back, relax, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Hello, this is the intrepid traveler, Paul London. good journey, y'all.